evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Nelson Council meeting, July the 11th, 2022. Thank everybody for coming. We'll start off with a word of prayer. Thank you, Father God, we just thank you for today, Lord. We thank you for each and every council member here, Lord. We just ask that you would lead, guide, and direct all of our decisions, Father, that we would act with integrity and continue to do what you would have us do, Lord. We just ask that you would be with our officers, our EMT folks, Lord, our servicemen here and overseas, Father. Watch over them and guide them and protect them. We ask in Jesus' name, amen. James, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I do not want to hear that.
So, public appearance, or excuse me, agenda approval. Do we have, can I get a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
David, you get a second, please?
I'll see it.
James, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Next is public appearance.
Oh, sorry. How's this moving from here? Steve Johnston. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the community garden. Saturday we had our first giveaway to community members. I think we had 3 show up because we finally got poured on by rain the whole night before, so that kind of squashed that a little bit, but it went well. And we mentioned to those people and mentioned to people around the neighborhood, please come by. We're really giving to anybody that wants. If they want to donate, they can, but it's really about just giving them food. We really want to help the elderly, widows, and orphan type families, that kind of thing. So that's going to happen every Saturday going forward from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning, because we don't want to be out there in the heat of the day. Also, contacted Lieutenant Downey about we're getting people stealing from the garden at night. That's happened pretty much every other night for the past 2 or 3 weeks. They're coming in there after 9 o'clock. They're stealing from 5 or 6 different plots. I made mention to him, gave the names and numbers of all the plot owners. He's doing drive-bys, but I was hoping he was going to be here because I was going to ask if they would sit there from 9 to 11 a couple random nights. They're taking from the people of our community, and so I just want to make you guys aware of that.
You think it's outside or folks? Do you think it's folks outside community?
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah.
They driving up there or walking in?
I don't know.
Oh, so.
We have a camera up there, but it's pointing too far to the right, I think. So, and there's supposed to be a camera on the new pole, I think, but that's not installed yet.
Yeah.
Would be helpful if it was shooting towards the parking lot for dumpster days. I think it would clip the edge of the garden, and you'd probably be able to see what's going on. Mr. McNiff was there midday last week. Pulled in. There were 2 ladies in my garden taking squash and zucchini, and they said, "Well, it says community garden. We can take what we want." And he said, "That's not your garden." And then they came back. It was a white car. They came back with their husband and proceeded to yell at Mr. McNiff, who's 77 years old. He's just trying to be a good citizen. So, just so that you guys are aware of what's going on up
You
there.
put some stuff out there, right? Some signs.
I put signs immediately after that because we had signs that say property under surveillance. We figured that was a good enough message. I did not want to put trespassing signs because I think that kind of closes it off and makes it not approachable, so we didn't do that. But the sheriff said that we should do that, so we had them up the next day. They're up there, they say no trespassing unless you purchase the plot.
We're going to try to, have we had an opportunity to update the website yet or not yet?
I haven't had anything on our website yet.
We'll try to get something on our website, just so people know. I had a couple people ask me, when's the garden going to be open to get some vegetables out of it? And I told them, I said, you have to get with Steve Johnson.
Right, so the signs, we have signs made for that too. Those signs will go out every Wednesday. They're going to be on Blue Ridge Avenue, 2 signs, both sides you can see them. all the way till Saturday morning after we give the food away, we'll take them down and we'll reset it up again. Thank you guys for letting us use the tents. We definitely needed them on Saturday. And then one other thing from the Laurel Lake side, last month Sheriff Downey did not mention that there was some shooting by Pond 3 that was coming into the Lower Lake subdivision, went through my property, the trees on my property, went through Liddell Chapman, who just passed away, his wife Renee's property, their son-in-law, Joel, went over there and yelled at the man because they're shooting at the turtles, I guess, and I'm guessing the bullets are ricocheting off there, but they're coming into our neighborhood. And I know it's outside the city limits, but I thought you should be aware, just to know what's going on. I don't know if everybody knew that, but there's kids over there, there's people over there.
We did check with Jeff, and the right way to go about that is to get a hold of the Sheriff's Department, Cherokee County, because it is a county, in the county.
Which I did, but it's also, we live inside the city limits ourselves, so I just want to share with you guys, so you know what's going on there.
And he's
also.
and I know Lieutenant Downey's having to wear 2 hats, so he wears the hat where we have an IGA with him to, patrol and stuff in our city, and he also has the precinct there in Ball Ground area where they cover this area.
Right, he did all that stuff, but he didn't report it to you guys last week. He said there was nothing that happened, or last month.
Okay.
There was something that happened.
Gotcha.
There was shooting coming into our neighborhood, and I thought you guys should know.
Okay.
Well, see, my house got shot.
Huh?
My house got shot.
Are you on the other?
Right where I walked in the front door. 2 bullets, 4 inches apart.
And you're on the
Where
other
they come
side?
from.
Yeah.
Right, so their solution was, so they were on the dam, shooting across the pond towards Laurel Lakes. And then their solution was, we'll just move to the other side. Well, there's houses over there too, apparently one may be yours,
Yeah.
coming back the other way, so.
Thank God you didn't get.
I don't know, I just thought you guys should be aware, that's all.
Okay. Well, I
Thank you guys,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
And thank you for giving back to the community.
Oh, yeah.
We've had some
Yes.
calls and it's really nice.
I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
I love being out there, it's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? You have something? Are you sure? All right. There's pumpkins out there if you want to take one home with you. I bet you Mr. Steve will give you one.
Oh, you can take one, yes.
Next
One
up
day.
is the approval for our minutes of June the 13th, 2022. Can I get a motion to approve our minutes for June the 13th, 2022?
Make a motion to approve.
Nathan, can I get a second?
I'll second it.
William, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Next is department reports. So Lieutenant Downey is not here. We'll try to get a copy of those and get those out in the email to you guys, okay? There was a, I'll message you.
Well, we have to have a meeting this month, so we have to do the millage rate for the pick and side when we get the digest.
Oh, okay, gotcha, so we'll set that. Next up is mayor's report. So we've been busy around here. James, thank you for, and Kelsey, for going to the Pickens County first lost meeting. We have, that got kicked off earlier this month, and we've got scheduled meetings. Laura, do I need to get council to go ahead and vote for me to work on behalf of the city to secure our funds for lost, or is that just automatically covered?
That'd be part of your role anyways, because those are funds you're entitled to, they come through anyways.
Okay, and I only asked because they had a committee with a couple of council members and some other folks that were doing that for Jasper, so I just didn't know if that was gonna have anything to do with us, if I needed to make sure that the council was okay with me renegotiating their terms.
I'll still be going with you.
Yes, sir.
It's not required that you vote on that. If you want to have a vote on the record, you can.
Does anybody, I'll always ask this, do you feel that there's a need, is there an issue with me renegotiating for the city?
No.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and say that in the past, I think our numbers were low, so we are going to be asking for some additional funds there for the lost. I'm in the process right now. Kelsey made me a book. I'm about halfway through it. There's a lot of information for lost and what it covers and how, but it's mainly to offset taxes for our citizens. So with that said, hopefully we'll be able to reach an agreement on that. We've got 3 scheduled meetings, and I'll make sure you've got the dates, but we'll just
Yeah.
make sure we call you on those. Good news is that we did get, we got all the money we asked for from Cherokee County for SPLOST, so I was very happy about that. So that's going to go a long way in you know, in doing a lot of work here for the city as far as our infrastructure and our roads and things like that. I was very happy with that, and they are more than happy to continue with us to do IGAs for our larger projects for SPLOST, so that we make sure we're covered with the state and everything, and give us a you know, it's not coming out of our pocket. We're getting a project manager, and I think Lori's done an outstanding job with Kennesaw. So that was the good news there. I do need to work with you. We owe them one piece of information, which I'll send tomorrow after we chat tonight, and then that should be done. I did meet with Lori on Kennesaw Avenue. Our Kennesaw Avenue project is almost done. There's a punch list with like a gazillion items on it. It was pretty good size. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but I think they pretty much covered everything. Every crack was covered. The only thing that we're waiting on now, she's trying to find somebody to give us a price on adding irrigation out here, and making sure that, I think she said one of the concerns is that our trees that were put in were supposed to be 3 and 5 gallon, and they feel like they were 1 and 3 gallons, which was causing a little bit of a problem with the drought and stuff like that. The crepe myrtles took off great. It's the dogwoods that they're just like crispy. They're having problems. So they planted too many knockout roses. They're gonna have to come back and take some of that, or we're just gonna have a mess with that. And put something back in its place. And I also asked that they put down some paper, because we have weeds coming up. So we need some paper put down or something. So she's supposed to be getting back with me this week. She's and she's going to be spending some time in the city hall this week, having them come back, and she's just going to sit here until it's completely finished. But they're supposed to be fixing the ruts down there, seeding, strawing, all that stuff. So picking up any trash, things like that. So those were my things for this month. Also, I did meet with I have a meeting with Southeast Outdoor Solutions, who was gracious enough to come out, meet with William and Nathan on our kiddie park down here. She worked with us, gave us a good estimate here of a starting point for us, which I'll pass around. But she came up with $75,000, and she waited till everything went on sale. This is the this is the piece that she recommends for that area down there. It's for age groups 5 to 12, and a different coloring scheme, of course, because I told her, I said, I don't think I can do gray and yellow. So she's like, no problem
With what?
with gray and yellow. I can't do that. So she came up with that. Also, included is a swing. This swing here shows I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is a pole, and I'll print this off for everybody so you have a starting place, but this pole won't be a pole. These don't last over time, so she wants to do an A-frame, but it does have an ADA compliant swing on the end of it, and then a baby swing, and then there's a swing for people to sit on. This is what it looks like, and then there is a ADA compliant picnic table. It does include the mulch. It does not include removing the equipment, but I know that somebody said the church here, Nelson Baptist, may want that equipment. You guys don't have a problem with it, we could offer it. We would need to get the equipment removed, or they would if they wanted it. And then we would need to get a bid out or find somebody. I don't think it's going to take, it won't be over $10,000 to put a new fence up and a new privacy fence between the property next to it and the park. So, but her cost for that, like I said, was $75,000, and all that was included in it. And that I did explain to her it has to go out to bid, everything, and then she could bid on it. And she said that's great. She would do a really, you know, she appreciates the opportunity to bid and the opportunity to be able to supply us with this information.
Now, they're gonna replace the border around with all the mulch is and stuff.
And the mulch is included.
Oh, so the border and mulch is included.
It is, and here, she even put some different things in here. We're gonna make copies of this for everybody, so take it home this evening. We're gonna have another meeting this month. But if you wanna go ahead and let's get this out for bid, you know, playground equipment, they would come with their own renderings to, you know, to bring it to the table and say, hey, here's what we can provide. We're gonna put a cap on it of, we've got her bid is, I think it was $75,087.80. So if we say just say $76,000 or, you know, $77,000, and that's what we want to spend on it. We need a rendering, we need drawings and everything, and you can bid on it. This is what it, and we can do the bid packet based on what she provided to us, which was everything. She wrote everything out with the borders, how thick, how much mulch, different things like that. So she gave us a great estimate of what it would cost to put something back there. So we want to provide this to you guys, and then maybe we can vote when we have our millage rate thing, and you guys can vote to approve the dollars to fund this park, and then we can get the bid packet out. Does that sound good? Or do we
It's
gotta-
kind of hard to bid it out if everybody ain't bidding on the exact same.
Well, you're gonna bid on this, so each person would come with their own, this is just what she said, hey, for $75,000, I could put something like this there. They're gonna come back and say to you, for X amount of dollars, this is what we can do with that property. This is just an example of what she can do and a cost estimate saying, hey, this is a good starting place for the city of Nelson. So that's all this is. She would have to send her own bid in and her own rendering and everything.
Probably enough.
What's those black man, solar panels?
No, this is just decorative pieces is what it is. That's all that is.
You can always cap it
Yeah.
at 100,000.
You can cap it at
And then
100.
give it a little more flexibility.
What do we have?
But in the bid package, you could use that verbiage that's in here.
Yeah,
just
that's
to
what I was-
Put out to the public.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I was-
everybody needs to be bidding on the exact same thing.
Yeah, well, not the playground equipment. They're gonna come back with their own thing, but yeah, bidding
The
on.
borders, the mowers,
Yeah.
all the extras. and-
We have.
Do we
parks
have
that is
that?
lost for.
So we've got the cash for that, so 100,000. Okay.
What if somebody comes back with a bid that's 30,000 cheaper, but it's inferior equipment?
You know, I asked her that. I said, let me ask you something. Let's talk about quality. So she did. She gave me, so Superior is mid-grade. It's not your top of the line and it's not your lowest, okay? And if anybody wants to take a look at this, you can find this at the park there, the Duck Pond in Nelson. They have Superior.
You mean
playground
Jasper?
equipment. In Jasper, sorry. But they have this playground equipment there. So you can go take a look at it. And somebody may come back with that, and Laura, correct me if I'm wrong, but the council so we want quality. We know what we want. We want quality, and we don't want cheap equipment. And we don't want something we're going to replace in 10 years or 15 years. So it comes back on the council with when we have to have our bids. When we open those bids, they're going to tell us who they're going to be using, what kind of playground equipment. They'll give us an estimate just like this, and then it's up to you guys to vote on that.
Some of that has already been repaired once.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't have to go with the lowest bid.
yeah, you don't have to go with the lowest bid.
It's not what you want, you have to accept.
Yeah, so it's a good, I mean, and I know you guys, I'm the same way. I like local, because if something happens, they can come out. You guys can decide on who you want to go with. So, and look at the quality of the equipment.
Yeah,
But for
there's
us-
a big price difference in it. We just need to research the two different pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
But we'll need to put it out for bid and then go over everything, not vote on it that night. and
Yeah.
Make sure.
And that's why I asked her not to do, that's why I told her, I
Yeah.
said, don't go with the top of the line and don't go with the lowest grade. And she went with the middle of the road, quality equipment that's used in other areas, and I could go and look at it, and it is good quality equipment, so.
You said it was at the Duck Pond. Is it at like where the tennis courts over there, next to the tennis courts or something?
If you are going to Jasper and you turn to the right there at Walgreens,
Yeah.
and then you make a left,
Yep.
the next left, right, it's before you get to Chat Tech, but it's that left right there. You'll go down there just a little ways and you'll see a big duck pond there, and they've got equipment there.
Yeah, but they got a playground right next to the Duck Pond, and then on the other side, they got
Same equipment.
it's supposed to be the same brand.
Yeah, it's the same, this is the same, they did the whole thing when they did it. So,
It's been there for a while.
Yeah.
it has been.
That's the thing about good quality stuff, I mean, it'll last 25 years, so.
Yeah.
Well, she, also, if the first, Baptist was, the first Baptist of Jasper. She gave me 2 places to go to. One was, the lower end of equipment, and I went and looked at both, and this one definitely, for mid-grade, it's just a no-brainer. I mean, this is so much more
Yeah,
stout and
something
sturdy,
lasts.
yeah, than this one would, so, you know, for kids that are rough and stuff on it. And
Which
it
that
had-
down there's been a good one for as many years as it's been down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's, this was just a starting place to let the, I'm gonna print it off for everybody before you leave tonight, let me get it for you. That way you can look over the verbiage that she has back here, and it tells you what the charges are for and what she's looking at. And I think it's a good starting place. And if we do our bid and we talk about what we want in our bid, and I think she said the only thing that's not in her bid is the fencing and the removal of the equipment. So, and it's all written out in there, so.
Can she include that in her bid?
She said they don't do it.
They don't do the removing equipment.
Unfortunately, yeah, I talked to her about it, but she said they don't do that. So, but, you know, you got Bubba that's right there, and he's giving us some good prices, so, I mean, and if it's under $10,000 and we want to have somebody that we know who's already done work for the city do it, we can have somebody do that. You guys are in agreement with it. So I'll give you this. Let's come back at it when we do our next meeting, because it's only going to be a week or so anyway. And then we will we'll get everything together. We'll get a bid packet together and get it out and get the ball rolling. If everybody's good with that. Good?
Man.
All right. Alrighty. Anybody have any questions for me with regards to SPLOST, Kennesaw Avenue, playground?
If you heard anything else on the next stormwater project coming off the hill there?
I need to reach out to Barry and make a note of that. He was swamped, and I told him that this one was coming to a close, and I really wanted to go right in behind this one with another project. So, also looking at some ideas and for. I know we had gotten some really high costs when we were talking about doing a pavilion, and that's the other thing that our citizens had said they wanted was a pavilion. We've got the slab down here. I had somebody come and look at it and put it into an estimator tool for us. A nice one with electric power, you know, ceiling fans, lights, so people could rent it out and you could turn that on for them. Is somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 35,000. And that's a really nice one with big, you know, post wrapped with a nice, like a stacked stone, real nice hardware at the top, all the bells and whistles.
Like the one that got
Yeah.
it nailed today.
Yeah, really nice one. So around 35,000. So I was just gonna put that out there for you guys. Also have not been over to the property yet, but did. I need to get a size on our truck and stuff, but asked, you know, just for a starting place, what do we start with? Because we just want posts and a top on it to park our thing under. One of the good things that he did say was, if it's not your property, don't build a building on it. Go buy you one of those wood sheds, this nice shed that you can move to your property later on, and then it's yours and it's movable. The post and the tin is not going. He said that's not going to set you back that much.
No.
He said your fencing will be more than that. So,
I think a standard one for one car is only $600
They went way up.
yeah, the metal. He said he wouldn't do metal buildings because they're so much expensive. He said they basically just have like they're astronomical. He said you won't get them for what you used to get them for. He said you're better off literally putting your post out there, put your tin on it, and going with it because it's a temporary structure. You're not going to keep that for forever. Hopefully, we'll be able to find a piece of property. So But that's just food for thought. Haven't gotten back there yet. It's rained, and I had so many other things going on with our other things happening with loss and SPLOST. I hadn't made that priority yet. Anybody got anything else? Okay, I'm turning it over to Miranda for our finance report. Ms. Miranda.
And later in the meeting, you'll see that the budget amendments for fiscal year 2022 are complete. We do not have the final bank statements for June to be able to put in the rest of that. However, we did basically finish up the fiscal year 2022 with 15% extra proceeds in our revenue. So that's a good thing. And again, I'll go over the budget amendments when we get down to that part. Our budget really were right on point at the end of this year. The only reason that we really had to do the budget amendments, as you'll see, is we transferred a couple of different things where things were just a little bit out of whack. But the LMIC from the prior years, because we expended that and completed all those projects and those fiscal year funds that were remaining, those were actually sat to our reserves because that money comes in once a year, annually. So that ended up being about $38,000 over what we had originally budgeted for. So in the amendments, you'll see the pluses and the minuses of where I kind of move things around to make things balance. And then also, that's really the only reason that we are doing the budget amendment and increasing the budget. But as you can see, our revenues were outstanding this year. So, and then, so moving on to bank statements. Let's see. Bank balances, general fund, $748,826. Special reserve fund 3, which is SPLOST 3, we've able to complete all those projects. That's just basically the interest that's remaining in that.
You're down to $1?
So we'll need to, yes.
We should be able to move that.
We should be able to actually probably vote for that. We need to go ahead and vote to close that account, in my opinion. And then SPLOST 4, $337,486. SPLOST 2, which is the old Pickens, $402,121. SPLOST 5, which is the new Cherokee, $710,456. The cash reserve fund is $167,294. SPLOST Pickens SPLOST 2020, the newest Pickens SPLOST, is $577,075. The CARES grant, I guess that $5,000 is extra.
So they just have a cash check.
Okay, so that actually
Everything's
is good, and then I've also got the emails in regards to,
Yeah, she's gonna set up that account. We emailed asking if there was a way to, I'll talk about it.
Yeah. So we're expended that first round
It's
of that,
I think it should have $10 in there, once that other
Yeah.
check is cash.
just to keep the count open.
I will say right here with regards to the CARES grant, we have received numerous nice cards thanking the council for, for giving back to the community in that way and how it's appreciated and that they're working on the project. So, thank you guys.
That's basically all I got. Like Kelsey said, we'll end up having to have another meeting this month. We've got to set the millage rate for Pickens once we get all the digest numbers from Pickens within the time limit.
To vote on closing this account, do I have to wait until our next meeting, Laura, or can we go ahead and close it now?
You
since
can
it's-
vote on this meeting, yes.
Like right now? Or should do we have to add it?
I would amend the agenda first, wherever you want to put it.
We can do it now or do it in the next meeting.
Would it be easier? I want to make sure I'm doing it the right way.
You would just need to amend the agenda to make it an item.
Okay.
Whether it's under unfinished business or new business doesn't matter, and then you can vote on it. So you just make a motion to amend the agenda now and then deal with it when you get to unfinished business.
And that's closed.
Or you can put it on
Special
the next
Reserve
meeting, it's
Fund
up to
3.
you.
Yes, special reserve fund 3.
Okay. So, council, can I get a motion to amend the agenda to add 9C, new business, to close the Special Reserve Fund 3?
Make a motion, we add to the agenda C, 9C.
David, can I get a second?
Second.
Nathan, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. So this was to amend. Sorry, I'm making a note, guys, give me 1 second. Alright.
Which account do you need for that? Because the auditor always finds that she found the 2 cents the last time, and we didn't know where the 2 cents came from when we closed that SPLOST account.
I would actually probably roll that into the.
Like SPLOST 4 or general fund.
Well, that is a Cherokee County SPLOST, so I would just roll it in today with the SPLOST 4. Yeah. But make sure you.
Yeah, well, because I had all the documentation, we can get it to her, but she definitely asked about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up is gonna be unfinished business. Do you have anything else for us? Okay. So next up is unfinished business, picnic tables, grills, and pavilion. And Kelsey, I know you've done a lot of work on that, I'll let you.
I actually did talk to Nathan about it for a second today. The picnic tables we looked at were roughly $1,000, and the shipping, you're looking at roughly $300, $400 each. I don't know if you want 1 picnic table or 2 picnic tables. The grills, the mid-range grill was $400 or so. Just kind of want to get an idea of what you want, give me a ballpark price point that we're looking at. Then most of them are basically the ones that are at the park down here. Just kind of want an idea of what you want in order to order it. So if it had been right over the price limit, I would have just, talked to you guys, but because we're, we'd probably be looking at right at $2,000 by the time you get shipping and stuff in there. If you're doing 1 table and 1 grill, if you're doing 2 tables, a little more.
I think, and I thought about it, personally, I thought 1 table would be enough. It gets used, but I don't think it gets overly used, so, I thought it's one of those swings like what we saw right here, out there on the, like in the grassy area, would have been really nice to have had as an addition to that area, which is just the post with just a swing on it that faces that area over there. So, and I don't know how much those are, do you remember?
I didn't see it in the book.
Okay,
I can talk to you.
But,
The picnic tables are right at 1,000, between 900 and 1,100, if I remember correctly. And they're similar to the ones that are at the park down here, and the shipping's which didn't get you.
yeah.
What kind of grill are we talking about? Yeah, is it?
They have them from they had one that was 200, they have one that are between 400 and 500, and they have one I think that was 900. The one that's $400 to $500 was a pretty good size.
Yeah.
I think you and I talked, I think that was your best option.
Is it for charcoal or gas?
Charcoal.
I think it was charcoal.
It was charcoal. It's on a pedestal, and the cook surface is about like so. It was a
substantial.
nice,
It's
if somebody, if they wanted to have a little picnic, even if the church wanted to go there and put hamburgers on it, it would be enough to be able to put, hamburgers on there and cook it. But
Is there somebody can tow it off or really?
No,
It
it's gonna
gets-
have to be put in
It'll
the
have to be
ground.
packed
with,
with
yeah,
concrete.
it gets concreted in.
They-
Like at campgrounds type
Yeah,
stem.
Just a little, it's a little bit nicer than your average KOA one, but it's because it's like,
it's a little larger than, yeah.
But it's something that's concreted.
Yes.
Yeah. And do you want to leave that area up there where it's grass, or do you want to try to put stone or mulch or something down so you don't have weeds and stuff growing up? Just food for thought. But if you're going to change it from grass and stuff that's mowed to something else, I would do it before something's installed.
Looks a lot better than grass.
It does. I'm also looking at it from a maintenance standpoint of when they're having to mow and everything, and also ants and bugs and stuff. You're more likely to get it in grass than.
Now, is the picnic table going to sit under the pavilion?
Yeah.
So,
I haven't been up there under it, honestly, so I don't. If it's under the pavilion, then it wouldn't be as big of a deal. If it's going to be out in the.
yeah, the only thing that I recommended being out is just putting a swing there. That would be out, it would not be and the swing only has the 1 post, the 2 posts.
Yeah,
That's
no.
fine. So, but yeah, the picnic table, I think that one, the picnic table that's got the end on it for the ADA compliant, I think that's probably the one that you would want to put up there. maybe darker colors, not lighter, but, so I know we agreed to that, we just need to agree on a price to put those items up there. Right now, we're looking at roughly 2,000, so we can add the swing later, it doesn't have to be added now, but to go ahead and get those things and get them in, do you wanna do, you guys wanna go ahead and vote to cap, say at 2,500?
Now, we got that pavilion up our now, so we got that grant, that sidewalk, that was the money that was left over. And we told them it was a bus stop. For kids to get out, you know, it worked.
Well, it still works, I mean, if they went over there. Yeah, it still works.
What
if they-
size is that? Is it wide or is it large enough to fit a picnic table?
It
in?
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good size, I mean, it's not, I don't think you'd wanna put two under there, but
Yeah.
one big, nice one would be good. So,
We got 2 benches up there, don't we?
yeah, it's two little, it's two
Benches
little.
on each side.
Yeah, on each
Are
side.
they gonna need to be moved?
I wouldn't think so.
Well, you may just put, you may change it around a little bit, but, yeah, wouldn't be a bad thing. You may put a bench out there, not a swing, but,
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends.
That swing would be nice.
That's what I was thinking,
A
something
lot of
like
people
that.
use the benches to kind of set, so if you end up putting the picnic table there, and like a bench and then did a swing to replace the bench or something, it just kind of spruce it up.
What's your
Might be
thoughts?
room for all of it.
Well, there, yeah, the swing wouldn't go underneath it, the swing would go out, yeah, so there it is.
But it's like 10 or 12 foot wide,
Yeah.
Mhm.
so that should be wide enough for the benches in it.
Yeah, and have a picnic table, even if you move the benches to the front and have the picnic table across the back. And we can check I can check on the swing, we can order it locally. So, you know, and may be able to order the picnic table locally from her, so we don't have all the shipping.
I don't know. I just had pulled that it was. the
Since
same
it's
that
under
we used
10,000.
there.
Let's approve a dollar amount. We're at roughly,
Does she have a price on that for the
let me look.
table and the swing?
Let me look if she'd see if she would really quick.
What can we use to pay for that?
SPLOST.
Well, that's part of
Parks and Rec.
Yes. Thank you, Lord. ADA table is 1321. So she's got it in here for 1321 for the table. And then the swing, she's got it 1319.
Is that installed too?
Hmm.
13?
I don't know, she's got a total on it, so I'm pretty sure that this is the total price because she's got a labor charge in here.
But now this swing up here ain't gonna be near as big as what she's pricing down here on here.
Oh, this is the swing, this swing here, it's this little one that people would sit on,
Oh, okay.
you know, there won't be one of those, no sir. So this is just a swing for people to go sit up there in the park and swing. I didn't know it was a thing, but there
Oh, a
are
granny
people
swing.
that use it. Yeah, it's a granny swing. So, and then you've got your grills, I think that grill's around $500, a little over $500 for the mid-grade. And then,
That's why it was like $400-500
So-
and then the shipping. But if
so
it's all coming in together,
Yeah.
it could just be one shipping rate.
can I get a motion to approve $5,000 for upgrades to the small park?
I don't think it'll be that much,
I
we'll
don't
just get
either.
them open.
Yeah.
Thanks, all the team.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
James, David, for 5,000, all in favor? Unanimous, perfect.
You gonna try to see what all you can get from her? up
Yeah,
there?
we are.
Yeah.
Says it's
I can
local.
get the grill and everything.
She may be, yeah, I'll give her a call tomorrow and just touch base with her and let her know what we're looking at, and then we'll stick her in touch with Kelsey. I know Kelsey's trying to catch up too.
And I'll be going Thursday, Friday for orientation in UNG. But I had to pay to go to.
That's okay, though, but you know, you're learning, that's
Pay to go
okay.
to orientation.
The next thing is gonna be our railroad crossing at Spring Street. Kelsey, I know you've been working on that as well, haven't you?
And I don't know if Jack looked you into this. We had the railroad crossing, or the railroad actually came and asked us if they could close the crossing at Spring Street. James was actually on council when it was approved to be
In
closed.
2003.
2005.
2005.
Yes, it was approved. James actually made a motion to accept the agreement with the railroad company to close the Spring Tree Crossing with a second from Mr. Wilmark. It was unanimously approved. That was lots of fun reading to find the minutes for that. I sent them to Jeff. Jeff said we actually don't have to do anything else with it, but wanted to make sure that it was in here, make sure everybody's on board and okay with that. So, assuming we don't want to do anything else with it, but because we discussed it at the last meeting.
What's happening with it now? They're now,
I think they just want to close it. It was approved
Oh,
back
it's
in
already
Friday,
been-
it just
yeah.
wasn't ever done.
it's already been approved, they've just never done it,
It's the same
so.
one they waited 17 years to ask us again.
Well,
It's mostly-
the railroad's that way, you know, when they put
Yeah.
the substation in
It's
there.
busy.
They had to make a crossing, but summers along the track, they gotta do away with this one.
Yeah, as long as nothing has been voted to the contrary since then, it's been approved.
What do, there's so many people that complain about how many times that they plug, because they've got 3 intersections, just one after another, and there's one actually in the plan, so it's, you know.
So now they're actually gonna do it.
That's what they said. He asked for a copy of the minutes, so I did give it to him, but it was before
You
Jeff.
see, that railroad's been
Talk to
sold
me.
3 times since that's happened.
So, anyway, it was more technicality because it had been discussed, but it wanted everybody on the same page and.
Until 2035 and vote again.
I will not be here, so someone else can take that.
Okay, so we don't have to do anything else with it, we're good.
It was approved in 2005.
Okay. Good deal. Next up is,
That was 20 years ago.
item C, and that's the IGA for the upcoming Cherokee SPLOST.
I didn't know if you had talked to Jeff again. So this was on here from when you and I discussed that. So I don't think we have an official thing from him yet, because they were still waiting information, I believe.
Okay, so you want to hold it till next meeting?
Yep.
So we don't have, okay, well, I gave you guys the, all the information on it. We've been given 0.5%, which is pretty good. It's 2 million from that, and the, also the 6 years not included. So 6 years an additional amount of dollars. So it'll go a long way in our infrastructure and our new city hall. So the help with that. I do have a meeting set up with Jeff to talk about dollars, since it benefits everybody and it's the city hall. We can use both funds to do our city hall. So I'm going to set up a meeting just to make sure I have it confirmed and it's in writing.
Yeah.
So, next up is new business, and that's the millage rate for the Cherokee County side.
This is just a rollback, not increasing anything.
So do we need to approve this tonight and then have another meeting and then
Yep.
for the final? Okay. So we need a motion to approve the millage rate rollback for the Cherokee County side.
This is Miranda's magic fingers with this, but it was the 0.665.
It's 0.665, and it is the rollback rate, so there's no increase. That's basically it. There's literally no increase. It looked like maybe $300 across the board, but it's not an increase overall, it's just from
Okay.
values. So we just need to approve that so we can get it sent back to Cherokee.
Okay, and it's
We ran that.
0.665?
0.665.
Okay.
Last year, 2021, it was 0.742, so that shows you that it was an actual rollback.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
I like that for our citizens. Can I get a motion to approve the rollback to 665 for the millage rate for the Cherokee County side?
I'll make a motion.
2022.
I'll make a motion.
James?
Second.
Nathan? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Next up is budget amendments. Ms. Miranda?
All right, so we're doing budget amendments. If you'll look on the first page on the revenue side, you'll see that I added in the use of prior year reserves because we're pulling those funds that basically rolled into our fund balance until we spent those years of LMIG funds. And now those projects have been completed, so we've completed, expended all of those funds, so we're not actually like holding those
All of our LMIG is caught up.
All of our LMIG is caught up, all of our projects are complete, we're good to go. Have we've already been through for this year?
I just got the application now today.
Yeah.
So that's-
So that 38,000, just means it's been, what, the past 2 years, or a year, was it 2 years?
I think it was 2 years.
Yeah, so those projects have been expended, but with those, that amount was not budgeted for within our budget because we only budget for 1 year at a time. So that backlog has been completed, and that basically demonstrates that is why we're having to do a budget amendment. I did move within these departmental levels, there was a couple of different things in here that we really didn't budget for. However, because we didn't spend in other areas, I was able to maneuver that around, so we weren't actually increasing the budget outside of what our spending, original approved budget spending was at the beginning of the year, so.
Give you guys a minute to take a look at that, and then if you have any questions for Miranda with regards to the amendments.
And if you look at the third column actually shows you where I increased and decreased, where monies was not spent, and others where we spent more than what we had budgeted for. Anything with a parentheses is where I decreased, and if it doesn't have that, that's an increase. And it's funny, because my lines didn't go all the way across my page, so.
That's okay. I like it like this. Thank you. I appreciate it. Anybody have any questions for Miranda with regards to the amendment? That's a lot of work gone into what we've done in the last couple of years. This last year really was our demos and our Kennesaw Avenue project and cleaning up our backlog. It's amazing.
Luckily, with that element that we've been able to complete a lot of the road projects as well as with our drainage.
Yeah.
And then what all the lines could we go over on?
For example, there is, you'll see like in the salary part, it's because we did the hazard pay bonuses.
Yeah.
It's because we have to transfer that in and then expend it out of this. You'll see that, and then you'll also see attorney fees, you see audit fees, fire tax,
And the first part of this is where this is your amendments here, right?
How much was the fire tax
Yes.
this year?
Okay, and then these are just where you moved, from the expenses and clerk, this is where you moved within the part.
yeah, this is original,
So you're-
and then this was the amended, and
This is all your amendments to here, and then this is, all these other ones is where she just moved in between departments to make sure everything was covered.
to make sure everything was balanced and,
Yeah.
because you have to have it has to be.
I was curious about that fire tax, like, are we paying like the same rate as all else could we be paying on that?
It's a millage rate. It's
Yeah, it's a set amount.
Ours
Because
is cheaper.
it has to do with the ISO.
Yeah.
It's the ISO rating.
Our fire tax was $6,716 more this year than,
How much?
$6,716.
It's gone up.
16.
And this all just goes to show you though, guys, I just want to point out the fact that we've had all these increases that we did not, we hadn't accounted for at the beginning of the year, but we didn't spend money throughout the year as much as, so we actually were able to compensate for that without having to change our budget.
It's based on, if it is done as a millage rate, it's based on evaluation.
So they're not doing any rolling back, in other words.
The fire people?
I think they just keep it the same.
I think.
No, they just bought that mass casualty thing and ballistic vests for everybody, they're not rolling
Yeah,
back.
well, they just hired, Pickens County just hired Tim Prather, so they're heading in the right direction. Cause I see that all Cherokee stuff, there, you know.
Any
He's
other,
fantastic, he's actually.
any other questions on the budget amendments for 2022? Can I get a motion to?
Now, we are paying our city tax to the county this year, right?
So that's one of the things I wanted to also,
And with Pickens, yeah, the tax bills that people on the Pickens side got, it should include your Nelson tax. Got a lot of people call and they're like, it's gone through the roof. It should have a line item for Nelson.
Yeah.
So we won't be getting a tax bill for Nelson this year, it should be one.
Well, mine says Nelson tax on my
Yeah,
account bill.
you won't get a separate one from us.
but see, the county pays us the fire tax.
Right.
And then we pay the fire tax to Cherokee County.
Mhm.
Yeah, it should be easier now because it should be separated, whereas before it wasn't separated and it was harder to keep up with.
It'll be way easier and streamlined.
So we pay the fire tax to Pickens County or?
No, we pay the fire tax to Cherokee County. The Cherokee covers the entire city. But it should be, and you should check your insurance stuff because you should be
Yeah.
getting a break in your home insurance because you should be rated for Cherokee County instead of Pickens County.
But now, will we pay it to the city of Nelson or?
You pay on your tax bill, you pay it to
It's with the
Pickens
property
County when you
tax.
pay your tax.
They're just collecting it.
They
They're
collect it, they
collecting
send it to
fire
us,
tax
and then
also.
we send it to.
That's what I didn't know if.
Yeah,
fire
ours
tax.
is figured in with it, you know.
Yeah, our property tax, when we bought our house, they actually had us rated as Pickens, and once they realized we were Cherokee, our stuff went down because the ISO rating was lower.
Can I get a motion to approve the budget amendments for fiscal year 2022?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Nathan, second James, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. The last piece is, can I get a motion to close the Special Reserve Fund 3, Cherokee County, with $1.01 and move it over to forward?
I make a motion, we close the reserve fund 3.
Okay, get a second? And that's to move it over to forward, okay?
Yeah.
And that's Nathan, is a second, and all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. And
You
can
wonder
I
what?
get a motion?
You're
Make a motion to adjourn.
to adjourn? Can I get a
She asked me
second?
about the 2 cents, I'm not kidding.
I need a second to adjourn.
On the same county.
Neighbor second.
David? All right, y'all.